Hello, my name is Rebecca Thomas and I'm from Muhlenburg Christian Academy. The title of my illustrated story is Sarah May's Offering.
Howdy. Ooh-wee, you've got you a fancy church down here. Bet they ain't got nothing no finer than this plumb down in Knoxville. Hey, you don't mind if I take my shoes off, do you? It was a long walk from where I live, a ride for a piece. I don't get down to town much. Well, I come here today to give an offering. To me, it's a real special offering, and I wanted to give it in a real church house. I mean, we got us a church a ways up on the mountain, but it's a schoolhouse set on the Sabbath. And I always feel kind of like a youngin' there, like I never growed up. Just ain't fitting. Now, my mom said any place could be holy ground. Her garden was her holy ground. She put up messes of beans and things in jars. The first in everything was her tithe. She took it to the schoolhouse on Sundays to help the Lord feed the needy. I loved Mama's green beans better than anybody. Or anybody, too. I never tasted nothing no finer than Mama's green beans. Now, what Grandmama did in the garden, she walked, birthed babies, midwifed every baby born on the mountain. Thing is, the onlyest mother and baby my mom ever lost was her own blood. My sister, Janie, pretty thing, lived plumb to the other side of the mountain. See, the pains hit her early, and she clung up to Mom's because her man weren't home. He was good to Janie. He bought her nice dress-up things. He never got over it when she died. I liked to never neither. After my first grief, I got all riled up with God himself. I stomped my feet and I hollered at Mom, but I know he's listening. What kind of God you got anyway? For years you've been traipsing around the country helping other folks. Is this your reward? You've been giving the Lord the first fruits of everything you got. Well, I guess that weren't enough for him. I guess he wanted the first of your grandbabies, too. I was a rebellious house. Then one day, Charlie came around, and I just up and took up with him. Shamed my mom, but what did I care? I didn't believe in no merciful God no more. Charlie was good enough for me, and I worshiped him. He gave me this ring. Shucks, probably ain't even no real diamond. But I was true to everything Ma taught me about love offerings. When I cooked, the first and biggest help went to him. That spring, when he set off to Nashville, I was the first to wish him well. And last to know that he was never coming back. All them things I'd done for him, I reckon it weren't enough. I didn't have much choice but to go back to live with Mom. I knowed I'd hurt Mom, and I dreaded going back. I don't know what I expected exactly, but it was anything but what I got. When I crossed that footlog, I can see her yet. She let out a whoop, and she hung me as tight as she closed one of her mason jars. That sealed it. Long as she lived, she never once had let me see the wounds I done caused her. You cannot even conjure how good that first plate of her green beans tasted. When I took out my third plateful, I looked up and she was watching me, and she just whooped. I kept waiting for the bitter to start seeping out. I mean, she done lost a lot more than I had. How could she just keep on being so full of love as if nothing had ever happened? It was more than I could conceive of. If I liked the way she was, and I did, and if living with God made her that way, and she wouldn't sour on me, how could I be sour on God? Folks, there just ain't no arguing with that kind of love. It was painful, and it took a spell. But finally, a new spirit was born out of me, healthy, like Paul says in the Bible. First, they gave their own selves to the Lord. I went back to church, started giving my first fruits to God again. I learned herb medicine and midwifery. I'm right proud of myself. Then the other day, I was sitting up by the water trough, pondering, and it come to me. Now ain't you something, Sarah May? You've been giving your tithes, la-dee-da. Sure, the first time this creek thaws out after being froze all winter, you might give your first bucketful to a sick neighbor. But what if there was a drought, and the creek was drying up? Would you be willing to give your last bucketful? So, I figured this. Giving the first part of something you have to the Lord is one thing, but that real offering, a real holy ground offering, would be to give the last of something you got. This hat is the last thing I own that belonged to my sister Janie. This ring's all I got left to Charlie, wherever he is. And this here is the last jar of Ma's green beans. I was saving it for Christmas dinner. Well, I gotta get on back. I'll just leave these things here on the altar. Ooh, I feel like I could walk all the way to Nashville.